lettuce. Look at that. Oh yeah. Now for a size comparison, there's my head. That's a head of lettuce. Okay, so I have the different stages here of growing your lettuce in your pots or containers here. Now, one thing to remember is I'm doing this in these big pots so that you could get large heads of lettuce. As you can see, this is a lot of lettuce. Here's a smaller pot. You can definitely grow it in there. Now, I've seen videos where people have like a mass production of lettuce in like little cups and styrofoam cups and containers like that. That's awesome if you want to grow those small kinds of lettuce, or if you just want to have a large just amount of small batches of lettuce. But when you want to actually get the heads of lettuce, the large ones, and grow it in your containers, you need to put it in a large container just like this. You know, there's only so much room that lettuce can grow, or any plant can grow, inside of a small cup or container. Now, first thing what you want to do, this is what I do, you want to go ahead and plant the seeds inside these little planter trays or inside these little cups. And when it gets about maybe 2 inches big, you can go ahead and transfer it over into a larger pot or container, just like these. With the lettuce right here, there's a couple things you need to remember with growing a lot of lettuce inside of a container. Number one, you want to grow one lettuce in each container. Don't fill it up with a bunch of lettuce. What you're doing is you're sharing those nutrients and that water between all those different plants. You're not going to get huge heads of lettuce like this. Believe it or not, this is still young. This is going to get much bigger. Number two, you want to go ahead and water it twice a day. Lettuce loves water. Lettuce is just like eggplants. Eggplants love water, so does your lettuce. Most of your leafy greens love water, but definitely lettuce. Most of it is water, you know? So if something is mostly composed of water, you want to give it a lot of water. Just like our bodies, you know, mostly composed of water, you want to give our bodies a lot of water. So with the lettuce here, I water it twice a day with rainwater. It's pretty windy. Man, it's quite windy out today. We want to give it water twice a day. Now, there's a couple ways to grow this. This right here, believe it or not, was grown mostly in shade, not in full sunlight. Reason is, right now, the sun is extremely hot. There hasn't been rain for quite a while. So if you leave a plant out in full sunlight when it's in the 90 plus degrees every single day, your plant's gonna die, or it's gonna start getting these burnt ends on the leaves, or it's gonna start turning color, like a yellowish and a brown. Your plant's dying. So you don't want to keep it out in full sunlight in most places during the summer. Full sunlight is great in spring and maybe the end of summer when it's starting to cool down just slightly, right before fall. So this lettuce right here was grown on the bottom shelf. Let me move this out of the way. It was grown on the bottom shelf of our greenhouse here. Now I have on top the plants that love the full sunlight, like I'll have tomatoes and things like that. Which on the side here, I'll go down another video. I have them out in full sunlight out there. And they will actually cast a shadow over my lettuce on the bottom rack. And so these will probably get maybe a few hours of direct sunlight all day, but that's about it. Maybe like 3 or 4 hours of direct sunlight. These are mostly shade. So if you ever thought, hey, can I grow my lettuce in the shade? Answer is yes. This was grown predominantly in the shade. Like I said, they get probably about maybe 3 hours of direct sunlight all day. They're grown on the bottom of the greenhouse rack. So they are getting overshadowed by other plants pretty much all day. And the same with this one right here, this up and coming lettuce right here. These were both grown on the bottom rack, being shaded the whole entire day, just about, you know, except for, like I said, a couple hours of sunlight. Now you can grow this out in full sunlight if you're in a state or in a region that doesn't get too super hot during the summertime where the days are longer. If If the hottest summer day is 90 degrees, but the vast majority of the time it's in the mid to lower 80s, you can keep them out in full sunlight and they'll do just fine. But where we are right now, it is going to be 90s and up for the next probably 3 months. So these are going to be in the shade. So you can put in the shade or in the sun. I prefer in mostly shade. You want to water it twice a day with rainwater, and you want to keep your lettuce 1 lettuce plant per container. Do not share it with other lettuce because they're just not going to get as big. You're going to get a bunch of little ones. Now, soil. You want to get some rich soil. It's probably best to go to the store and get the soil with fertilizer in it if you don't make your own compost at home. But you need this soil to have some really good drainage, because with any plant, especially with lettuce plants, if the water sits in there too long, it's going to rot the roots. You're going to start seeing the green, the dirt's going to start turning green on top if you've had it in too much sunlight and you've been giving it too much water at the same time, or if there's just not good enough drainage. All right, well, that's about it for growing lettuce in containers. It's very, very simple. Don't let anybody make it too difficult for you or too complicated. You just want to plant the seed, get 1 per container, water it generously every day. You have to water it every day in a container unless it's raining, a few times in a week. You do need to water it every day. And depending on the region where you're at, you can grow this in the shade just fine, just like I did. Now, if you want more information on growing your fruits, vegetables, leafy greens, all that in the shade, and how to do it, and which ones can actually do that, can actually grow in the shade, go ahead and check out some of my other videos. Growing eggplants in the shade versus sunlight. That one did awesome. I'm growing lots of good eggplants in there. And I'm actually going to be growing some more eggplants back here. They're getting their sunlight right now, but they are actually in the shade half the day. And they're getting enormous back here. I'll make another video on those. Definitely shade or sunlight. I prefer mostly shade. They're not getting any damage. Look at that. Nice good head of lettuce. Well, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this content and this was educational to you, informational, helped a lot, go ahead and consider subscribing to the channel and like, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much.